Eddie Soldiers. I would like to extend all of my congratulations to anybody watching because we made it through March. It's warm and sunny outside finally, and it is so warm in this room right now, and I just felt like doing a full face beat with some nice highlight and like, ooh, I'm so ready to leave March behind. I read an awful lot of books in March, and a lot of these books are very big because I feel like everybody is in that mood where we just wanted to dive into a fantasy world and emerge when everything was done. And even though I committed to reading a couple of these real thick boys, some of them I really did not like, and some of them I had a great time reading. So without further ado, let's do a good old March wrap-up. The first book, which is a very highly anticipated read for I'm sure many of you out there, is Chain of Gold by Cassandra Clare, aka an illustrated guide as to why Shadowhunters can't have nice things. This book is 30% Shadowhunter politics, 30% fighting demons, and 40% fashion. I don't know what it is about this book, but there's so many fashion decisions and everybody's constantly changing outfits. There's a lot of cross-dressing. It's great. And even though I really, really wanted to like this, I just found it probably the most boring out of all of her books so far. Not the worst one though. The worst one is definitely City of Fallen Angels. You can fight me about that. But this one was just, like, it wasn't anything special. I didn't really care about half the characters there. I really liked the main duo of James and Cordelia. Just felt like they had so much chemistry on the page and their conversations felt the most organic out of any of the characters. Because I am so entrenched in the Shadowhunter world, it was very fun to go back to this world again, especially in a early 1900s setting. And even though it wasn't my favorite, I'm still obviously gonna buy the sequel because, like, I have to. That's just how it works. The second book up in March is another very highly anticipated read for a lot of people, including myself, that I was also so disappointed in because I read Crescent City, House of Earth and Blood by Sarah J Maas, aka the worst book Sarah J Maas has ever written, but the only time I have ever seen a character be smart and freaking use their phone to take a photo in the middle of a crime scene. Oh my god, finally, it had to be in this book. Wow, this book was not good, and nothing about this was right. Okay, look, so we have this other fairy dimension that also has like werewolves and demons and normal humans and other like weird creatures running around in it. And our main character is a part fae, and then there's a crime, and then we have to, you know, do crime solving stuff. And the main love interest is supposed to be this tortured bad boy with a good soul, and he is so obviously a cinnamon roll, like, to everybody. It's like he's not even trying. And their banter, I know, was supposed to be sexy, but it just felt like two people whining at each other. I like the side characters way more than I like the two main characters. Like, Run? Huh? He's a punk, rock, tattooed fairy prince chosen one? Where's his story? The biggest thing that bothered me about this is that because this is a adult novel, new adult, whatever, there was a lot of overt sexuality in it, which wasn't bad. The sexuality was done really weird because the main character is very curvy and it's constantly talking about how she wears really short dresses and she likes to wear tons of makeup and get her nails done. Her character changes in the way that she starts off as this kind of reckless, irresponsible party girl, and then she changes, but she allows other people to think that she still is that, to underestimate her. And both of those two things, her being sexy and her being underestimated, are great. It just felt like there was never a point where that was deemed okay. Like, she is called trash and a whore and a slut for the entire book because she likes to wear short dresses and lots of makeup, and there was never any moment where it was like, yeah, I like short dresses, so what? Or like, yeah, I do like lots of makeup and that doesn't make me a bad person. Like, there just wasn't any of that in the entire novel, and I'm just like, this is not a good message for, like, anybody reading this. I will say the ending was pretty good, though. I did not see the twists coming, and they were a good couple of twists, I will give her that. Okay, this next book is, like, physically demanding. I think I just pulled something in my back. And that is the fact that in March, I finally finished reading The Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon, aka the book that Game of Thrones should have been that took me 3 months too long to finish. Do you see this tower? This book is, like, one of the bricks that is in this tower. It is It's thick. This book is about two particular kingdoms that think very differently about the dragons of old and how they fit into their now religion. One of these characters is a magical sleeper agent who is tasked with protecting the queen. One of the characters is said queen, and another one of these women is across the sea in a land that thinks of dragons very differently. When dragons start to rise up again and we realize that an epic battle is starting and the world is going to change, we have a bunch of different perspectives all coming together as we try and reunite these two magical stones so that we can save the universe. I am so impressed. This was incredibly well written. It's so atmospheric. The way that she writes is so realistic. Like, there's this giant pirate battle in the middle of the book that you can feel the rain coming down and you can feel the heat of the dragons. But you can also so palpably feel the tension of the throne room when the queen is like laying the smack down on some of her other royals. Oh my god, it is such good writing. Great exploration of the Chosen One narrative and that kind of follow-up like 1,000 years later when the curses have started to wear off. Yes, this took me 3 months to read and it was so worth it. It just made me feel so many feelings. And then another wonderful book is maybe a surprise, maybe not a surprise, I don't know. March was the release month of my good friend Aaron Latimer's book, which is Of Ash and Ruin, aka Bisexual Witches Hunting Down Black Magic Celtic God Serial Killers. Oh boy. Like, if that pitch doesn't make you want to read it, I don't know what will. Honestly, this was like so wild and was so good. I mean, yeah, I might be like a little bit biased because it's my friend's book and like I got an advanced copy of it over there and like I went to the launch party and everything, but this is the first book in what is to hopefully become a brand new series of Celtic gods and rival witch covens. Our main witch character, Dana, has been outed as bisexual in her small Irish town while also struggling with OCD and a rival witch coven that's come to town. Like I said, black magic serial killer. So we have to team up with the rival coven and the surprisingly attractive other witch named Minor to be able to solve this black magic crime. It's so full of magic and family and really good portrayals of mental illness, especially since multiple characters talk about having mental illnesses. I thought that it was integrated really well and there's a really good like support system within the book itself. Also, like, nobody in this book is straight. It's wonderful. Okay, before I reveal my favorite book of the month and maybe of my life, I want to talk about a couple books that I no longer have because I took them back to the store when you could at one time go to stores. So two major flops for me this month that I'm very sad about. The first one I'm going to talk about is Ash Lords by Scott Ragnton, aka the Scorpio Races meets the Hunger Games, but on fire. In a land where there are Phoenix Riders, we have a annual race across the desert that is live on television, and of course all the people that enter this race have varying degrees of experience and each have a reason to want to win the race. I was never super invested in any of the characters despite knowing their entire backstories. The sci-fi didn't really mesh with this old-timey Western feel very well. The idea of the oppressors once being the oppressed was a good idea, but it just, like, I didn't like them at all, so there was absolutely no reason for me to, like, root for any side. This is a genre match that just didn't really work. I'm really disappointed in this book. Another book that I am so sad to say that I didn't like is The Kingdom of Back by Marie Lu, aka The Story I Wanted and the Story I Didn't Get. This book was supposed to be a magical contemporary fantasy mashup about the two Mozart siblings in the 1800s, mostly focusing on the elder Mozart's sister, Nannerl, as she becomes her own musician and her younger brother starts taking the spotlight. This book seemed to have it all. We have beautiful sweeping shots of old Europe, we have fantastical music, we have sibling relationships and fantasy and fairies and feminism, but overall everything just fell flat. The main character seemed super childlike even when she was 16. I wanted the music to be more explained, I wanted the obsession to be darker, I wanted the fairy prince to be creepier. Unfortunately, this is one of Marie Lu's books that I could not get on board for. My final book of this wrap-up is possibly, dare I say, my new favorite book. Favorite. Like, of all time. Like, of everything I've ever read in my entire life. Favorite. Ladies and gentlemen, may I now introduce you to my new favorite book, aka The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern. My friends pre-ordered this for me in June. It came in November, and I didn't read it until March, and I have been sleeping. Holy shit, this book is It's perfect. It's perfect for me, I will say. I know a lot of people are not gonna like this book because it's kind of weird. The basic overall premise is that there is a fantastical library outside of space and time that is also on the shores of something called the Starless Sea. And if you know where to look and you are in the right place at the right time, you will be able to find a doorway to get there. This follows multiple characters in multiple timelines that sometimes overlap, but time is not linear, and sometimes they overlap inside of time, and sometimes they overlap outside of time. I know even just saying that I lost like 6 people. It's very whimsical, it's very dark, it's very literary, it's very like wibbly wobbly, timely-wimey. This is stories within stories built on dreams, built on narrative, and it's very weird. I love that fantastical, dark academia atmosphere, so that's what really cinched this for me. Plus, not only is this part beautiful, but the inside is covered in keys, and the front cover looking like that. How can you expect me not to have this as my new favorite book? So yes, this is the new love of my life, and I've already planned a tattoo around it. Oh yes, and I almost forgot. I wasn't gonna count these, but I did finish them in like 2.5 days, so maybe we'll just like sneak this into the end of the video. I read the entire Redheaded Stepchild series again by Jay Wells. This is just good old nostalgia vibes about a half vampire, half mage kicking ass and taking names, and also some demons. It's a really fun paranormal series that has been, obviously, as you can see from those very cracked spines, well loved. I just had the urge to reread them again. So this whole series just really helped bump up that Goodreads reading goal for me, because I was behind, but not anymore. So there you have it. There are all the books that I read in March. Some were favorites, some were flops, and that's just how it be sometimes. There are some big name flops in this list, but I mean, it's gonna happen now and again, right? You can't be perfect all the time. Please leave down below if you agree or disagree with my opinion. Let's have a talk. I really want to know what some people think of Chain of Gold and of Crescent City, because I know those two are like some big, highly anticipated, like, will fight you for the last copy kind of books, and I'm over here just being like, this sucked! Have you read The Starless Sea? Did you like it? Did you not? Did you think it was way too weird? Because there was a couple times that I had to like put it down and like process for a minute, and then I was like, yes, I still do very much so enjoy this. Let's keep reading. Also, let me know what you've been reading for this last delightful month that has felt like 3 years long. You know where to click like the video, you know where to click to subscribe. I hope you guys are all having a nice day wherever you are, and I will see you all next week. Bye!